Hey, it's good to be here.
Glad to be back.
Starting to feel familiar,
Yes.
right?
Uh-huh.
Hanging out with you is fun.
It is.
Yeah. I think I would like to talk today about R.E.M.A.S.S because it's been a topic today. It's been showing up in my life and in yours and in our life together. So I'm going to start by defining it. R.E.M.A.S.S is not something you're going to find in a medical encyclopedia, even though it's a medical condition, because I gave it the name. Mm-hmm. And working with a number of doctors, I had them validate that this is legitimately what the condition is. So although it's not a branded name that you're going to find in a medical encyclopedia, it's truly a definition of what people suffer with. The more familiar name would be weight loss resistance.
Yeah, I was so fascinated the first time I heard you speak about this concept of R.E.M.A.S.S because it brought so many concepts together. And I think it's really going to change how people address this weight loss resistance. And we've already seen this, for clients that have come into biohackers, the ability to overcome when so many other things have failed them.
And really what it amounts to is problem, solution. Mm-hmm. But so many people who suffer with weight loss resistance have never identified the problem, and nobody's really identified it for them. They think the problem is their weight.
Right.
What they don't realize is the weight loss resistance is a symptom of an endocrine malfunction. Mm-hmm. And, we talk about, I use this term a lot, conventional medicine or allopathic medicine, but the fact is the medical field doesn't recognize this condition. They see it as a cluster of symptoms, like they would look at metabolic syndrome. So R.E.M.A.S.S is restrictive, endocrine, maladaptive, adrenal stress syndrome. A lot of words. What does it really mean? Well, let's just start with the adrenal stress part of it. The issue is stress is bringing about what we would call classically the stress response, which means the adrenal glands are driven to produce excess levels of cortisol. Mm-hmm. When somebody can't lose weight, they don't think to go speak to a doctor about their adrenal stress. They look for a diet or a medication or an appetite suppressant, and all of those things will backfire. What comes along with weight loss resistance is elevation in blood sugar, which may be diagnosed as type 2 diabetes or prediabetes. Hypothyroidism, which would be a diagnosis in itself, but kind of neglecting the other element of this issue. The adrenals run hot, the thyroid runs cold. So I think we should talk about it today because in simple language, if you can't lose weight, in all likelihood, it's because of your endocrine system. Mm-hmm. And your endocrine system has adapted to a stress response that has become chronic.
Right. Yeah. So, a lot of times these toxins that are presenting to us come in the form of a lot of different ways. This could be emotional stress and toxins. This can be actual toxins that are presenting in diet. This can be as a result of our current sedentary lifestyles. And so all of these things combined are then leading to this kind of classic R.E.M.A.S.S. And we're never taking the opportunity to get to the root cause because, you go to the gym and they tried to work you out, take your stress higher, or you go to the doctor and they give you medications that aren't addressing the underlying cause.
So let's take what you just said. Somebody's struggling to lose weight. They try going on a diet. They lose weight. They gain it back. Mm-hmm. They blame themselves. They go, I didn't have enough willpower. This has nothing to do with willpower. They try another diet and they lose weight and they gain back more. So now here's the twisted thinking. They think the first diet was better. So they go back to the first diet. Now they're going back to what continues to fail them. They keep going back to the thing that fails them because they think it worked, not recognizing the outcome was residual weight gain and a slower metabolism. So at this point, somebody says, well, you need to exercise. Now we know the issue is adrenal stress. So now you take somebody whose stress load is very high and they're not recovering from it. Emotional stress, toxic stress, environmental stress, all of these things count as what I'm calling stress load. Mm-hmm. So this person goes to the personal trainer who is not educated in this, and the trainer goes, I'm going to take you through a great workout. So for 1 hour, the trainer has this person doing jump squats and pulls and cool things on a TRX and balancing on a BOSU. And at the end of the hour, the person is exhausted and the trainer feels proud. I took you through a great workout, see you in a couple of days. Half the time the client will come back, half the time they won't,
right,
because it wasn't a pleasant experience. But what the trainer is inadvertently doing, not the trainer's fault, they didn't cover this in the certification prep class, is adding stress to somebody whose recovery system is turned off. So here's one part of the solution. When we start people on an exercise program, we start them at a 9-minute-a-day routine. Mm-hmm. And at first people go, oh no, I could do an hour and a half. And I say, I know what you can do, but what you can do is what you've been doing, and what you've been doing has made you worse. So let's teach your body to recover again. Let's restore that innate recovery ability. We're going to challenge you enough to bring about a stimulus for change, but then we're going to let your body rest and recover. So if we look at two ends of the spectrum, just today alone, I shared with you somebody who lost 14 pounds in 21 days going through this program. Now, 14 pounds doesn't mean 14 pounds of fat, because they also added muscle. So in all likelihood, they lost 17, 18 pounds of fat in 21 days. And this is somebody who, prior to starting the program, said, I can't lose weight. The reason it worked is because it works. It's a program designed to correct this maladaptation. In the very same day, you had somebody who you said freaked out. So talk about that.
Yeah, so, a couple things that we sometimes hear when people first would start the program. And what this person said to me.
The program, by the way, is called the 21-Day Metabolic Reboot. So when we talk about the program, it's the fix for weight loss resistance. But go ahead.
So one of the things they receive is an email to receive the downloads. And they would get webinars that they can watch. So in the beginning of the program, there's a few introductory webinars and talks. And so when they received these webinars, they said, it's too much work. I can't do all this. And they didn't want to do it.
Without even watching a single second of a single webinar. Right. Mm-hmm. So somehow the suggestion of there being responsibility on their part is enough to steer them away.
Right. And, they called and said, well, what am I doing? I just want to know what I'm doing. They wanted some sort of quick fix.
Just tell me what to eat and
tell me what
to do.
to eat and tell me how to exercise.
Right.
And we already know that those kind of programs don't work. We would be doing a disservice to our clients who came in.
And by the way, they do work for people with healthy metabolisms.
Right.
But we're talking about people who have a compromised metabolism, not always diagnosed. Mm-hmm. And what works for the healthy population doesn't work for these people. And they find all of these justifications and globalizations, and they say, well, nothing works for me because I have bad genetics. Nothing works for me because... No, nothing works for you because you haven't tried the right thing.
And so many times we've heard people say, I know what to do, I just don't do it.
Which translates to, I have no idea what to do.
Right. And, it's that self-blame. Oh, it's my fault. I'm not disciplined. Right. And it's because they've never been given the right information.
So here's another interesting phenomenon is when people start the program, and you've heard me do this in an introductory seminar, they get specific exercises related to mindset. Now, they're not weird and they're not difficult. They're important. And I emphasize they're every bit as important as the physical exercise. But everybody's caught up in show me what to do. Don't give me the mindset stuff. I just need the exercise. Mm-hmm. And this is why that backfires. The mindset stuff is vitally important. You have to start from a position of belief. And you also have to be able to emotionally, psychologically mitigate that adrenal stress worry. Mm-hmm. So mindset becomes vitally important. So at first, people are resistant to it.
Absolutely.
But at the end, they all say, oh my God, what changed everything was the mindset. Important. That was the key. Mm-hmm. So this is the difficulty is from where we sit. Those people who are willing to take on this program find a great outcome. But how do you help somebody who's got that wall understand that the thing they're resisting the most is the thing they need the most, right? What's blocking them is this mindset. So the person you're talking about got the email, opened it up and said, oh my God, I have to watch videos. I'm not going to do this. This is too much. Well, this is a mindset issue. This isn't a video issue, right? This is a mindset issue.
Right.
How do you get that person to just go, uh-oh, somehow my mindset is getting in my way? That's the challenge.
Right. And I think, unfortunately, we've become kind of a now society. I want everything now. Give me the checklist. I'm going to get that done. Email. I'm going to do that fast, and then I'm going to move to the next thing. And what you need to do is invest time in yourself. Invest time in your health. It is literally your most valuable possession. And I think people have forgotten that.
And when people say, I know what to do, I just don't do it, what they know is eat right and exercise. Everybody knows that. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think anybody's ever gone to a doctor and said, Doc, I can't lose weight. And the doctor goes, hey, why don't you try this? Eat right and exercise. And the person goes, oh my God, what a great idea. They know eat right and exercise, but they don't know what eat right means. Mm-hmm. They don't know what the exercise should be, and they don't understand their recovery system, and they don't understand how important the relationship is between the brain, the immune system, and the gut, which is a vital piece of the correction. So the program is so comprehensive. And, Kristen, I always get a little I'm cautious because I never want to turn this into a commercial. I've said that several times. Mm-hmm. But we're talking about what we do. And the desire to help people is so real. It's why we're sitting here. It's why we know each other. It's why we do what we do. Mm-hmm. But the challenge is people are closed to anything other than what appears to be easy. They want, you said it earlier, there's the now. I want this now. Mm-hmm. I want a pill. I just want you to tell me what to do and I'll do it. I want to know the diet program. But look how amazing it is when somebody really learns to understand the condition. And it all reverts back to stress load. Now, when I say this, people haven't heard it before. So when they say, I know what to do, I promise you this, you don't. And it's not because you're stupid. It's because what we share is not common knowledge. Personal trainers don't learn this. They train people with what I call R.E.M.A.S.S the same way they train their healthy athletes. And when those people don't get results, the trainer blames the client. They go, she probably wasn't eating the way I told her. She's not doing the workouts on her own.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But the fact is the technology is wrong. The approach is wrong. So R.E.M.A.S S is the result of stress exceeding recovery.
So I wanted to talk a little bit about that concept of recovery. I think people think that the workout is the work. That's where the benefit is happening. It's in the workout. And it's not. You're actually putting stress on your body. You're tearing your muscles. You're breaking them down when you work out. When you do a squat, you are creating little tears inside your muscle. And the reason that your muscle might get bigger from doing squats is because stem cells come and repair that muscle and make it bigger. So the actual workout itself is putting stress on the body.
The reason people go into an anabolic recovery state where they build new tissue is exactly what you said. Micro trauma to the muscle. Mm-hmm. So you're damaging the muscle so that it will repair. Mm-hmm. But it repairs in a state of recovery.
Right. So the recovery is the most important part. And this is what is so cool about what we do at Biohackers. It's a game changer. We are able to recover faster. It's active recovery. We are using high-tech equipment and machinery to recover your system, making the most out of that insult, which was the workout.
That's one of the greatest benefits of biohackers, biohacking, is prior to this, recovery meant rest.
Mm-hmm. Sleep.
Yeah. But, going home and laying on the couch and thinking about your day and complaining on the phone and recycling all your stress is increasing your stress load. Mm-hmm. But putting yourself in an infrared sauna for 20 minutes or going into a hyperbaric oxygen chamber doing 3 minutes of cryotherapy heals the mitochondria, improving your recovery ability not only in the moment, but moving forward. Mm-hmm. So when people do this for a full 21 days, incorporating the active recovery, not only do they see a result, but they're moving back toward that innate state that they were in initially, where their metabolism was healthy and their body would not even store fat, let alone remove it. They didn't have any fat to remove. Right. So from where we sit, the answer is so clear. Now, when we talk about this R.E.M.A.S S condition, if anybody's listening going, well, I don't have that, I just can't lose weight, I'm talking about 65% of the adult population. I'm not talking about a small number of people. 65% of American adults have this condition. How do I know? Because we've been working with this population. Mm-hmm. People have criticized me for saying this, but I'm going to keep saying it until somebody proves me wrong. Just about every woman who comes to us for weight loss over the age of 35 has a hypothyroid condition based on her lab work. Mm-hmm. And the doctor often says, oh, you're 42, that's normal. abnormal can't be normal. It can't be normal if you have an abnormal thyroid output, right? But this is almost an inevitable result of R.E.M.A.S.S. Your adrenals are demanding so much metabolic energy that your thyroid is literally trying to protect you. It's saying there's not enough metabolic energy to fuel everything that demands metabolic energy, so I will switch off the Krebs cycle, the energy cycle, and it starts to produce what's called RT3, where it converts T3 into RT3. Mm-hmm. RT3 is reverse T3. T3 is the thyroid hormone that activates energy. So in plain, simple English, the thyroid's trying to say, too much is happening here. I want you to rest. So the person with R.E.M.A.S.S is tired and has brain fog because there's not enough metabolic energy to support things like memory. Like remembering where you put your keys is not important to survival.
Right.
This is an adrenal stress issue. It's not a thyroid issue. The thyroid is the symptom. Now, am I saying in every case? No, I wouldn't say that. But what I'm saying is when people come to us with R.E.M.A.S.S and hypothyroidism, very often 21 days later, their labs are very different and they're not testing as if they have this hypothyroid condition anymore. So when people go, well, no, I don't have that. I have hypothyroidism. No, I don't have that. I have elevated blood sugar. No, I don't have that. It's all part of the same thing. R.E.M.A.S.S is restrictive endocrine maladaptive adrenal stress syndrome. Your adrenals are requiring too much metabolic energy because you're living in chronic stress.
Yeah. So my favorite client that comes in is that one who has the doubts and who says, oh, no, I can't watch the videos. I don't want to do anything. I just want the quick checklist. And then once they start and they get that mind shift, it's like a light bulb goes off. And 21 days later, they're seeing results that they've never seen before. You know, they're taking control. They're taking back control of their system. That power was inside them all along.
Maybe that's the scary part. You know what? In order to take control, you have to be accountable. You know what I mean? I mean, somebody can hand you the keys, but you still have to turn the ignition and step on the gas pedal.
Right.
So if we're giving somebody the program, but they're not willing to be accountable, if they're going, oh, no, this won't work for me because I don't want to watch videos, you're giving them the key, but they're not stepping on the gas. Because it's a scary thing, because if they accept responsibility and fail, then what?
Right.
But once they accept responsibility and succeed, when you called it a game changer, the power isn't to change for 21 days. The 21 days is the game change. After the 21 days, you don't have the problem anymore. Yeah. You know how to correct.
Right. And even that, you know, that was one of the, you know, comments that the person that was nervous said, well, but then what after the 21 days? Well, now you have the recipe. You've got the success. You've got the mindset. You have the program. You get it.
So, you know, we talk a lot about helping people, and really what we do is help people help themselves. But there has to be an educational piece of it. And I know that sucks, because if we put up a sign that said, education here, nobody would come.
Right.
If we said instant results, everybody would come.
Right, right. You actually told me a story earlier today that was so fascinating.
With the radio show?
Yes.
I don't know what year this was, but I used to have a radio show on mainstream radio. And it was April Fool's Day. And I thought, okay, let me do a little April Fool's prank. And I got Anthony Almada, who's a friend of mine and a top biochemist and a researcher and really, really renowned and respected. And I got him on the show, and we announced together the amazing discovery in the Amazon basin of the bark of a tree that is called Puedam, Puedam, and I spelled it. And I said, let's talk about this. And it was, you know, Anthony would go, well, what we learned is if we liquefy it at a specific temperature and then we feed it to a human being, it goes directly into the bloodstream, and as it touches every adipose cell, releases the fatty acids into the bloodstream, grabs the fatty acids and shuttles them into the mitochondria of the muscle cell to be burned. So we went through this whole pseudoscientific explanation of Puedam. And then I said, well, Anthony, how can people get it? And he said, well, this is really good timing because we need 30 people for a research study. So we need 30 people who are going to try this product, lose the fat, and just give us their results. But it's going to be $26 for shipping because it's coming from Brazil. And I said, well, let's say the first 30 people who call. And instantly, every phone line lit up. We had 12 phone lines. Watched them like a Christmas tree. And I would just take a call and I go, you want the product? Hold on. You want the product? Hold on. And as soon as we disconnected a call, it came up again, And then I revealed Pu Idam. I chose those letters because it's made up, MADEUP, backwards. And I said, I'm doing this not to be mean, but I want you guys to realize how vulnerable you are. I mean, what we shared is absurd. It's crazy. There's no way that anything, bark of a tree or otherwise, is going into your body, knowing where to go to the cell, releasing the fat, then attaching to it. It's completely ridiculous,
Right.
But it shows how people were ready to spend $26 at the drop of a hat. The truth is, I probably could have said $260, and I could have made $1 million that day.
They want a quick fix.
And that's the sad truth, is opportunistic marketers of products are very happy to capitalize on the willingness, the vulnerability of the population to say, give me the fix. And when they fail, this is the craziest thing, they know people will blame themselves. I didn't stick to it. I didn't buy my recurring 30-day supply. They'll blame themselves.
Right.
I don't know any other industry in the world where people fail to get what they pay for and blame themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, if you get a new roof on your house, you come home and the roof fell in, you don't go, oh, yeah, well, it's just the house. You go, man, that was a horrible roofer, right? I want my money back. So it's part of this phenomenon of self-blame that allows this $50 billion industry to thrive by taking advantage of people. So what I want to say is...
One of the things you had talked about at one of the seminars was food labeling and how misleading it can be. So even that, like, they don't know what to eat. And on top of it, the food labels are misleading.
You're being polite.
Right.
I mean, they lie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, fat-free can be put on a food that's 100% fat.
Right.
Low carb can be put on a food that's pure carbohydrate. Organic can be a big word when in small print it says made with, and then it says organic ingredients, which means it has 3 organic ingredients and the rest is all chemical. So yeah, the food labeling is corrupt because the FDA, we like to believe, works in our best interest to protect us, the nice consumers. But the fact is they don't make decisions that will harm the food and drug companies. Right. So when they change the labeling laws, they leave loopholes so that the food companies can continue to capitalize on this American gullibility.
Yeah, we're a system that's involved in a lot of lobbying, and lobbying is done, in the government to make sure that certain companies are protected, and they're looking out for bottom line and profits, and not necessarily the well-being of the people in the country.
We could do a number of podcasts about artificial sweeteners.
Oh, yes.
And the truth is, many of them are far from healthy. Some of them are not as bad as others. But here's what I know. Sugar contributes to diabetes. We're seeing 11-year-olds now with fatty liver that used to be reserved to 40-year-old alcoholics. We're not calling it type 2. We're not calling it adult onset diabetes anymore. We're calling it type 2 because children get it. So I know that sugar contributes to obesity. I know that sugar contributes to metabolic syndrome. I know that. The sugar lobby in this country is so powerful that anytime anything comes out that threatens the sale of sugar, you watch how fast it gets bad publicity. Now, is some of it legit? Yeah, but it's usually overblown. And I'm not saying, please don't send letters and emails. And I'm not saying artificial sweeteners are good. I'm just saying they get swatted away so quickly because of the lobbying power of the sugar industry. And there's an example of how the food companies really control what the media comes to believe.
Right. Yeah.
So we have to educate people. We have to empower people. If you have R.E.M.A.S.S, whether or not you think of yourself as that, if you've tried to lose weight and you can't, if you've done the same program as your friend and your friend lost weight and you didn't, if you've been diagnosed with hypothyroidism and you go to the doctor and they put you on medication and the doctor now says, you're fine, we did your labs, you're fine, but you still can't lose the weight. At least let's explore whether this condition applies to you. And if it does, here's the great news. The fix is simple. Do you have to be responsible? Yes. Do you have to exercise? Absolutely, but you start with 9 minutes a day. Do you have to eat differently? Probably. But none of this is deprivation. In fact, people are shocked how much food they could eat. So I just want to say to anybody who's struggling with weight loss resistance, if you haven't yet found the answer, at least open up to the possibility that we have it, because we do.
It's true.
Kristen, this is a blast, honestly. Like, I really enjoy it. We can just go continuously for hours at a time, but we're out of time right now. So I can't wait till our next one. And in every podcast we do, we mention things, and I think, that's another one. That's another one. So whether it's artificial sweeteners, there's no limit to how much we can talk about.
Right.
So I know we'll be back for more. Until we do, have a great tonight, have a great tomorrow, and be better, everybody. Bye-bye.